Their rights allow them not to. Everybody knows that. And in this case, will Tran's interview affect the outcome of the verdict? Let me go back to our prosecutor, Loni Coombs, on this. Now, listen, Loni, I know you're going to be honest with me. Police officers, detectives, seasoned crime investigators, they take advantage, don't they, of the vulnerable suspect, especially a young person, a woman, someone from another country, and they go ahead and interview you. They're not going to beg you to get a lawyer.
No, absolutely. They want that statement. They want whatever evidence they can get, and usually the defendant's statement gives them great evidence. And in this case, this is where I have concern about the cultural issues. Did the police officer take into account, as he was making this interrogation, the cultural differences?
What do you think, Loni? You think he took that into account when he conducted his interrogation?
I'm sure
here in Wisconsin?
I would assume he conducted his interrogation as he always would conduct it. But then in analyzing it, the prosecutor's job is to look at it and say, look, what are the cultural mores? What does this intonation mean? What do these answers, these inconsistent statements mean? Was she just going along in the face of this authoritarian figure?
Right.
That, you know, is this what she was raised to do? Can we really take all of these statements at face value? And to be honest with you, I actually think that she helped herself a lot in this case as far as coming forward, being very straightforward and forthright and doing everything she could.
Nothing to hide.
That's right. And so it also can help the defendant in many ways if they do give a statement.
I think it's a rare case when it helps the defendant, but this may be that rare case because she is such a sympathetic defendant. Former prosecutor visiting from L.A. We're so happy you take the time when you come through town. And Jamie Wasserman, my dear friend, psychoanalyst. And Jamie, I want to come back to you because I promised you we'd get a chance to come back to the larger this case. At the same time, Loni Coombs, who's our other guest, has a personal experience, and I'm pleased to say she's willing to share it with us. Loni, you know, let's put aside the prosecutor hat for a moment, but only a moment. You know a little bit about these issues of assimilation and siblings from other cultures. Tell us.
Well, I have two sisters in my family who came to my family from Korea at age 7 and 9. At the time, not speaking any English, and it took the rest of my family, who are all English speakers, all raised here in America, a while to start understanding that there were many things we were misinterpreting, from the intonation to the words they would speak, to they would give you the answer that you wanted to hear and then go off and do exactly what they still wanted to do.
Let me tell you, English-speaking kids do that too.
That's true. But there are also these interpersonal relationships. They're extremely close. It's interesting. I hear this description of these sisters. And to this day, they're in their 30s. They're still extremely close. They have a connection that none of the rest of us have. They protect each other. They come first in their lives. And so I understand how these two sisters, it was the most tragic and devastating thing that could have happened to them.
Yeah, and I want to draw a little bit more on that personal experience of yours as well as Jamie's expertise in this area. But right now I do have to take a quick break because it's time to tell you what's coming up later today on Catherine Cryer Live. Loni and Jamie, and I want to talk about the boyfriend. Let's beat up on the boyfriend. How about that character? I don't want to play with the gun. Come on, play with the gun. And so, of course, she does. And Loni, you say she has a fair amount of experience. I don't think she really did, but certainly we would agree she didn't grow up with guns the way some people do, especially in Wisconsin, other parts of the country. She was a person who was new to guns and didn't have a lifelong experience with guns and gun safety. Let's talk a little bit about his role. Loni Coombs, why is he not being prosecuted for something in this case?
Well, I don't think he's done anything illegal. He did want to impress upon his girlfriend this need of a gun for protection, and there's varying opinions as to whether that's a good approach or not, but it's not illegal, obviously, to have a gun.
The gun was illegally gotten. He didn't even pay for it. It wasn't supposed to be in his possession. How about that?
Well, that's true. He wasn't the registered owner. He did pay for it, but he didn't register it in the way he was supposed to. At that point, whether the prosecutor was going to prosecute him with that, I don't know if they had the appropriate evidence to be able to back that up other than his own statement. They would know if he was registered or not. But here he is. He's a witness for the prosecution, so we don't know if they said, okay, you're testifying for us, so we're not going to prosecute you. I'm not sure why they decided not to prosecute him for that. But as far as showing her the gun, teaching her about gun safety, there was nothing wrong or illegal about that.
Jamie Wasserman, I don't like the boyfriend in this. What about you?
You don't like him or you do?
I don't like the boyfriend.
You know, he's from Wisconsin, Jamie. What can I tell you? They have guns out there. It's un-American not to know how to shoot a gun.
I shouldn't say I have no problem, but that's not why I say I don't like him. What I don't like is the way in which he forced her to become interested in something she wasn't otherwise interested in. And again, I think that may go back to the cultural difference.
Right.